Welcome to my Throne of Thunder PTR raid guides. These videos will be recorded during the PTR period to give you something to start with going into the new raid. Once we clear the content and get a bit more comfortable, I'll start posting more detailed guides. In this video, we'll take a look at the first encounter of the raid, being Jin'rokh. I'm gonna cover the mechanics of the fight along with some other strategies so you can get the fight done. Before we get into that, let's just take a brief overview of the fight. The fight is a one-phase encounter with a soft enrage timer which is quite forgiving. You'll have damage amplification zones, so DPS should not be an issue, and for composition I would recommend that you go 2 tanks, 3 healers and 5 DPS during progression. Taking a look at the arena, you'll play very focused around one quadrant of the map at a time, which I'm going to show you once we look at the latter portions of the guide. As with all bosses in Throne of Thunder, we have a quite extensive list of mechanics which can seem daunting at first. However, when we look at the synergies of the abilities, the strategy for how to overcome it becomes quite simple, so bear with me while I explain each mechanic at first. The first mechanic is called Thundering Throw. It's a pretty harmless attack which picks up Jin'rokh's current target and throws him towards a statue in one of the quadrants of the arena. The tank and any target in front of the statue will be stunned for 5 seconds and take moderate damage. Naturally, you'll want to tank swap when this occurs, and you should note that Jin'rokh will always throw the tank to the quadrant which is farthest away. So when the tank has been thrown, we're introduced to our second mechanic, being a pool of conductive water, and that's going to emerge from the landing spot. This pool starts small, but it's going to grow and cover the entire quadrant as the fight progresses. When the players stand in the conductive water, they gain a buff called Fluidity. You'll definitely want to stand in the water as much as you can, since you gain 40% increased damage and healing done while you're affected by Fluidity. However, you also take double nature damage, so caution is advised. To prevent you from camping in the waters, Jin'rokh will cast Focused Lightning pretty often. This is going to spawn a small lightning orb which fixates on a random DPS or healer. It's going to chase the player and explode on impact, doing moderate damage to anyone within 8 yards. It also leaves a lightning fissure on the ground. Lightning obviously hurts, so healers make sure to top people up before they get hit by the ball, and ensure that you don't stand in the lightning at any point if you can avoid it. What makes this mechanic non-trivial is that the focused lightning can never cross another lightning fissure or explode within a conductive water. If it explodes in the water, it's essentially going to wipe anyone inside the water. If it crosses a lightning fissure, it's also essentially going to wipe your raid. Long story short, move out with the lightning orbs and do not cross them with a fissure and you're going to be fine. A very nice aspect of the growing puddle is that it's also going to consume any previously placed lightning fissures at the cost of dealing some raid damage, so don't worry too much about where you place the lightning fissures. While the lightning orbs is the primary mechanic of the fight, we still have some other ground to cover which can be just as deadly. After the puddle has grown in a bit of size, Jin'rokh is going to jump to the middle and start channeling Lightning Storm. This electrifies the previous puddle, causing very high dot damage to anyone still inside it, so make sure to move out when he casts Lightning Storm. For Heroic, he'll also call down pillars of lightning that emit lightning orbs which travel across the arena, and these are very important to dodge since they hurt quite a lot. For normal, we only have one more mechanic, which is called Static Burst. This is a periodically cast spell which does raid-wide damage and is quite harmless in itself. However, a few seconds after it's cast, it applies a nasty debuff to the current tank called Static Wound. It starts at 10 stacks and drops off at a moderate pace. When you have this debuff, you'll want to avoid taking melee hits from the boss, since you're going to emit lightning damage to your entire raid depending on the damage that you take. Simple enough, tank swap when this goes out and ensure that the active tank does not have the static wound debuff on them when holding the boss. On Heroic, we have one final mechanic which we'll need to deal with called Ionization. Once per quadrant, Jin'rokh casts Ionization on all raid members except for the tanks. It places a magic debuff on all the players for 24 seconds. Once it expires, or once it's dispelled, you'll take very high damage and splash in an 8-yard radius. Like all other lightning mechanics, if this touches the conductive water, you wipe, so run out to get dispelled or use immunities to clear it off you. With 2 healers, this can be quite tight, so doing a 3 healer setup and the composition will definitely help with this aspect of progressing on heroic. That's going to cover all the mechanics of the fight, so how should you strategize to get the fight done in an easy way? I would suggest that your tanks predetermine which pillar they want to get thrown to, so that the raid can get in position for the first puddle spawn as soon as possible. You'll hold all cooldowns and bloodlust for when the first puddle spawns to optimize your damage output. If you ever get a focused lightning orb on you, simply run out from the water, otherwise you'll stay in the puddle near the edge for a quick traversal. When you get ionization, run out of the water and pop immunities or get a quick dispel to clear your stacks. Here, you might want to coordinate your efforts to optimize your uptime in which you can stay in the waters and rotate a raid cooldown to survive. For reference, in our raid group, we just let the debuff expire naturally on most of our raiders and simply pop Aura Mastery, Rallying Cry, and other cooldowns to ensure that everybody would survive the big hit. Apart from that, the fight is fairly straightforward. Avoid lightning damage, optimize uptime in the puddles, and tank swap as soon as you get the static wound debuff. This fight is very punishing for bad positioning, similar to Zorlog in Heart of Fear, so just equip your dancing shoes and you'll get this done in no time. And that's gonna wrap up this PTR quick guide. I want to thank you all for your patience for upcoming raid guides, and I'll aim to post guides on all the fights in Throne of Thunder as soon as I can. But if there's anything specific that you'd like to see, please let me know in the comments section. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel for future guides. As always, thank you all for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.